apologies if I don't respond to all the comments. Um, I do have a quick glimpse through the comments, and I do kind of make plans to respond. There was one comment from a guy called, I think he's a guy, so Vala Kushal. So apologies if I'm not saying your name correctly, but I think it's Vala Kushal. So he asked, can you please describe how to use Selenium driver in a Linux crontab? So I thought that was a really good one. So when I typically use Selenium, I'm always doing it in a cron because when you do it, you want it to run in the background. You want to, it's all about automation, right? So cron and Selenium pretty much go hand in hand. So I thought it would be really good to show you that. So if I just open a terminal, and I'll just make that a little bit bigger. And I'll just create a couple of tabs on here in case I need another one. Alright, so where we last left off, I showed you how to do a automated web login, and I was doing that on the Internet Movie Database website. So I was going to the home page, I was clicking in sign in, I was entering my email, and then I was automating my sign in. So I've updated or uploaded that script to my GitHub page, so you can copy that script and you can modify it and use it as you wish to. So what I won't do, I'm not going to do the full login in this example of Selenium because you don't really want to sort of smash it too hard when you're doing Selenium logins, because what happens is that you leave a footprint, and if you do anything too kind of programmatically, then they look at the timestamps and they can say, okay, this looks like some sort of script has been or program has been doing these logins, and then they can ban your login, right? So when you use Selenium on other websites, then you want to try and replicate human behavior as much as possible, and don't do anything which is too patterned. So I could do the full login and have a wide space of time, but what I want to do is just crunch it down. I want to show you the cron every minute. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly run that last script which I did. So it will be Python 3, and I'll just show you how that works. So it's going to the Internet Movie Database, to the home page. It's going to click on sign in. It's then going to click on sign in with Internet Movie Database. It's going to enter the email address, password, click the sign in button, and then it's logged in. And there you can see it, I'm logged in as Rico. I just picked weird names, any sort of not that Rico is a weird name, but I just pick any name that comes to my head. I usually watch films and there'll be a character, and I just pick that name as a username and password and all that sort of stuff. So so what I've done, I've output everything to the terminal. So, and I've run this, I haven't run it as headless. So what we're going to do when we run a cron, we're going to run it as headless, and I'm just going to narrow it down. So if I go to the screenshot, it's just created a screenshot. This is my screenshot folder. It's created a screenshot, and there it is. It's taken a picture of the home page. I didn't take a picture of the logged in page, just of the home page. So what we're going to do, we're going to modify this script. So if I just close that, and I'm just going to copy this. So let me just clear that, and I'm just going to go into Vim, But before I do, I'm just going to copy this script. And I'm going to name that, let's see, I'm going to name that to 0501, and I'll call that 01, and I'll call that crontab. Okay. So right, I've now created that file. So this is the file, the same as the automated sign-in, but I'm just going to narrow it down and just do some editing to it. So let's get rid of this, and I can just drop this file in, and I'm just going to go into Vim, and I'm going to make some changes. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to clean this script up a little bit. And first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take away the login. So I'm just going to take it up until this point here, which is go to the home page and take a screenshot. So everything else I'm going to get rid of. So up until here, I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to make some changes. So at the top, I'm going to import OS, and the reason for that is because I'm doing a little bit too much manual stuff in this script. For example, I'm stating what my username is. I would have had to create a screenshot directory in order for the screenshot to be saved. So let's get rid of the screenshot folder, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to update my script to automatically create that screenshot. So I want to kind of minimize as much errors as possible. So let's do that. I'm just going to go back to the top, and I'm just going to put some variables in. And the first one is going to be a username. And where I imported OS up here, sorry, let's just tidy that up a bit. Okay. Where I imported OS up here, I'm now going to use that over here. So it's going to be os dot environ dot get, and now I'm going to get my username. So it will be username. And so I've now populated what my username is inside of this variable. So we know it's PyUser, and it just makes it easier just to dynamically get that rather than setting it, because as you go on to different let's say machines or accounts, then you don't want to have to manually sort of write that username in. You just want to automatically get it. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to validate that. So I'll just print that out to the screen. Username. So we'll print that variable out to the screen. And then the next thing I'll do, and I'll just say get username to save screenshot file to desktop. Okay, so I'm going to create another variable here, and that's going to be, and I'll just make a description of it. That's going to be the screenshot directory. So I'm just going to make a comment, create screenshot directory, and I'll call that directory screenshot, and I'll use an f string, and it's going to be home. And the reason why, I mean, typically I could do this, right? I could just say, you know, and then desktop. But I've noticed with Selenium, it doesn't kind of read that abbreviated path. So you have to put home. Then I'm going to put in my variable username, and what's the rest of it? It's going to be desktop tutorial cell. I could actually call the directory Selenium rather than cell. I think I said previously that I try to avoid using the name Selenium, and I just remembered it doesn't affect directories, it affects file names. So if I had the file name as Selenium, then there will be an issue with that because it will collide with the library which I'm importing. But I'll keep it as cell for now. Just continue using that, and then the screenshot directory where I'm going to save it to. Okay. So that's my directory. Now the next thing I want to do, as I run through this script, I mean this script is running procedural, and I'll keep it procedural for the moment just to make it simple for anyone who's following, but I tend not to do anything procedural. I like to do everything as much as possible as object orientated or functional, and at some point you know, I'll get into that as well. So I'm going to create the directory, and here's the OS which I'm going to use again, and to create it, to avoid an error, I'm first going to look to see whether it exists, and if it doesn't exist, then I'm going to create it. So path os.path exist or exists, and I'll give it the directory name. Okay, you just saw that, right? So I'm using the System 76 laptop, and on one of my other previous videos where I'm setting up a cluster, Raspberry Pi cluster, I showed you how the arrow keys are so close together and they're so small that I'm always jumping around the screen, and so that's just an example of what just happened. So yeah, this particular keyboard has not been designed for Vim users. Alright, so I'm going to put in there directory screenshot. So if that doesn't exist, it's going to create it, and then to create it, it's going to be dot make directory, and then I'll put the directory name in there. Okay, I'm always making typing errors, so I'm just having a quick look. I'm sure a typing error will come up when I run that code, and I'll have to go in and correct it, but it looks to be okay for the moment, except for screenshot. Okay, so I'm importing OS. I'm creating a variable with my username where I'm using get environment. I'm just going to validate what my username is and print it out to terminal. I'm creating a directory where I can save my screenshots, and then just down here I'm just going to update this bit where I'm taking the actual screenshot. So I can just get rid of all of this, and I can put in the variable directory screenshot, and that makes it a lot easier. That just simplifies the code. Alright, so we'll just go back to the top. What else do I want to do? Okay, so I've showed you how this works using this particular script where I did the full login, and because we're going to run this in a crontab, we don't really need it to appear on the screen. We want to run it in the background. I mean, you could allow it to pop up, but it kind of defeats automation a bit, because typically when you're going to run these sort of applications, you'll do it on a server which is headless anyway, so you won't really need to you know, see anything. You can just let it run in the background and take a screenshot or do whatever you need to do. So in order to do that, I'm going to change my variable display visible to 0, and you can see that over here where you've got display and visible, and that's my variable. So that's now saying please run that as headless. I don't need to have anything pop up on the screen, which you just saw. And to follow along with this, all of this script and all of this stuff that I've written already are in my previous tutorials. Alright, so I think everything now looks good. What else do I need to do? So now I need to set the cron tab. So if I just go over to here, clear the screen, and it's going to be cron tab E. Okay, so don't worry about all of these errors. You probably won't have it. Now the reason why I've got these errors is because I've got loads of settings in my Vim RC file, and when you run a cron, it doesn't really kind of load those in. So here's the cron tab. All of this stuff commented out, you can just ignore it, and then we can just write our cron. Alright, so I'm going to break down the cron for you. So pretty much here, you've got an example here, right? So it says at 5 AM every week, you know, you can run this like particular command. But let me break this down. So you're going to have 5 integers, yeah, 5 integers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the star just means everything. So that's going to mean the first one will mean every minute, every hour, every day. So sorry, let me go back again. Every minute, every hour, every day. Yep, I got it right. Every month and every day of the week being the last one. And then what you're going to do, you're going to have your command. So it's going to be Python 3, and now within this one I don't need to put the full path. I can just say desktop where it resides, then it's going to be in a folder called tutorial, and then cell, and then the name of the script. So that will be crontab.py, and then I can just run that like this. So this is going to run every minute. Now let me just go back to this. So if I wanted to run this every first minute, well, let's say every hour, I can just put 0 like that. If I wanted to run it every 10 minutes, for example, then it would be like that. If I wanted to run it every 10 minutes at the hour of, let's say, 6 AM, then I think it would be 6 AM like that. What was it? Yeah, 6 AM, something like that. Alright, so I'm going to run this every minute. And there's some other things I'm going to do. Usually what I do when I run my crons, I echo out, I print out the content of my cron to a log, and I'm going to create a log. So let's create a log as well. So I'll put the log in the same folder. So desktop, tutorial, cell, and we'll put that in log, and I'll call that cronlog.text. And then this just means I'm going to use standard out, standard error and standard out, piping out that information. So it's going to be, arrow, then ampersand, and 1. Okay. Just have a quick look at that. Just get rid of that, and I think we're good. So every minute, using Python 3, the path to my file, and then I'm going to pipe out what happens in the terminal to this particular log file. So I also need to create a log folder. So I'll do that. So let's just copy this. Let's go back over to here. Let's create another tab. So make directory. There you go. Alright, so I've just created my log folder, so all of my logs will go in there. And let's go back over to here. So now all I need to do is just write, exit edit insert mode, and I can just write and quit that. In order for it to work, what we need to do is reload the crontab. So we do a sudo service cron reload, and as long as you don't get any errors, then you know your crontab is written correctly. Your cronjob in the crontab is written correctly, and so as long as I don't get any errors, then I'm good. Okay, so reloading configuration files for periodic command to scheduler cron. Okay, so my command is absolutely fine. So that's now going to run. So I've updated that, and so let's just give that a little while, and then we'll go into the log, and then we'll see if that run. And then if it did run, we'll also see a screenshot folder appear, and if there's any errors, we can check the log to see what the errors are, and then we can correct them and then run it again. So it's now 12:12, or is it? No, it's 12:19. So let's wait until 12:20 to see what appears. And let's just check this. So yeah, I did write that. So just waiting, and this is why I did it every minute, because if I were to do it any longer than that, then we'll be sitting here looking at the screen for quite a long time. But yeah, preferably I would have liked to show you the run the cron. Oh, here we go. It's now 2020, and here's my cron log. So let's just open that. We'll go in here. So that's run. But the screen grab folder didn't appear, so I think there's an error. Alright, so permission denied. Home none. So let's just go into my let's actually just run the crontab. Let's run the Python file, and let's see if there's any errors that appear on that. And for the moment, what we can do, we can stop the crontab. So if I just go back into here, and continue, and I'm just going to comment it out, and I'll just reload. Okay, so that will stop running. And then the next thing I want to do, I want to just run this. So let's see if there's any errors with that username. No, the username is fine. I think there is a issue with getting that username from the environment, so I'll probably need to set that environment in my bash RC. I won't bother do that, so I'm just gonna just make it a little easier for now, and I'm just gonna edit that file, the Python file, and I'm just gonna change that to user. Just makes it easier just for this demo, but I'll have to make, in order for that to work, I'll have to make configurations in my bash RC, in my environment path, and set my variables there so it can, so it's able to get it, and that's the reason why that error came up as none. It's just not locating my username using the cron. Alright, so okay, so what else do I need to do? Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back to and let me just take this out, just comment that out for a sec so we don't get that error. Okay, and I'm just going to go back into my cron and comment that out. But before I do that, let's get rid of that screenshot folder because I just ran it. And right quit, reload the tab, and then we wait. So it's 12:23. Screenshot folder hasn't appeared yet, so let's just wait. We might have another error. I'll wait until 12:24. Okay, still hasn't appeared. Okay, so it's appeared now. So that tells me that it ran okay, and I'll just give that a sec, just refresh that folder. Still writing why I got that error, so let's go back in, and now I can open it. So this is the screenshot of the home page for Internet Movie Database, and then I can go into my log and just take a look at that, and you can see home page, current URL, and what the title is. So that's just a very quick example on how to run Selenium in a cron, in a cron job. And yeah, I hope that helps. So over to Vala Kushal, I really appreciate your question, and I know that I've got questions from other sort of users on YouTube, and I hope to respond to some of your questions very soon as well. Alright, thank you very much. Cheers.